Fox News was forced to change a headline on its website after being called out for blatant transphobia by the White House. So I'm going to show you a tweet here of an article that was originally titled, get this, White House flew controversial new trans flag that promotes grooming and pedophilia, say critics. Ah. Wow. Okay, so again, super disturbing. One of the most fake news headlines, fake news of fake news headlines I've ever seen. Straight up trash. And the person who wrote that ought to be ashamed of themselves, but of course they're not. So now the article itself contained statements from people like Jamie Mitchell, who, if you don't know, is the founder of the Gays Against Groomers. She told the outlet, and was quoted in the piece, "The flag represents to us an ideology, a political statement of indoctrinating kids and trans kids and pushing kids to sterilize and mutilate themselves." No, nobody's pushing cisgender children to do any of that stuff. In fact, look, gender affirming care does not involve mutilation. Okay? Anything like that. So now surgeries are not allowed generally for people under 18, for minors. Okay? So again, let's get that out of the way. Complete and utter falsehoods. Okay? None of that is true. Now, the piece also cited a now removed TikTok video by the founder of Black Guns Matter, who just, again, went out and just said it. He called it, quote unquote, a pedophile flag. I mean, there it is. Openly hostile, openly transphobic, falsely conflating and tying pedophilia with being transgender. Again, there's absolutely no link between those two things at all. They're just using the most extremist false rhetoric against members of the LGBTQ plus community. And I find it completely ironic that you have a group that, claims, oh, we're gays against groomers. And yet they're using the exact same false arguments against the trans community that were used against the gay community not much further before in time. So you go back 20, 30 years and they were using that smear against gay people. Now, the fact is that your children are far safer around a trans person than they are with a priest, pastor, especially of the Catholic variety. But again, this can apply to all religions. Safer with a drag queen, again, and a trans person than with a right-wing politician, for example, with someone like Roy Moore, who used to allegedly go to the malls and creep on 14-year-olds. Safer than with people like Dennis Hastert, okay? Safer with a trans person than someone like that, who, again, is a Republican pedophile. Literal pedophile. Again, the vast majority of abusers to children are heterosexual males. Okay? That's according to data, numbers, facts. We know this. Statistics. What this is against the trans community is modern satanic panic. That's it. That's it. Just a modification of rhetoric they've used against the gay community decades and decades ago, for decades. So, now the author of the Fox report, Carrie J. Byrne, had also shared a now deleted post using language from the original headline, which had caught the attention of the White House. Specifically, White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates, who got fired up. So now he fired back in a tweet linking the writer's post and accused Fox News of lying to his office about the foundation of the article itself when it had sought a White House response. Remember, this was about, again, the White House hanging up an LGBTQ pride flag which again included trans people, black people, and then people, black and brown people, as well as people who had died from the AIDS epidemic and HIV back in the 80s and 90s, as a result of course, bigoted policies passed by the Reagan administration. And so they essentially ignored that entire thing and called it the gay disease. So the absolute horrifying ghouls. That's all those people are. But anyway, I mean, Ronald Reagan, I think where a lot of our problems started. Other than, of course, the conservative courts back in the day. But anyway, now, in his response, Bates referenced Fox News' $787.5 million defamation settlement, which showed that Fox hosts had lied to their audience members knowingly. So it seems like they never learned, because right now they're still lying. This time, again, about transgender people. Here's what Bates wrote. Fox never even communicated the malicious and discredited foundation of this article to the White House. Then they lie about whether we responded at all. In a follow-up tweet, Bates included a screenshot of the email Burns sent to the White House. The email does not mention that the article would focus on criticism of the flag by right-wing groups, hate groups, and offers the White House no chance to respond to the critics. Following Bates' tweets, Fox adjusted the headline to read, White House flew controversial new transgender flag that troubles some critics in the gay community. First off, there's nothing controversial about this flag. Trans people, not pedophiles, not groomers. Second of all, this flag is actually not even new. It was created by Daniel Quasar back in 2018 to be more inclusive, adding in the trans community, as well as communities of color, and again, honoring those who have been lost in the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 80s and 90s. The updated version of the article also added a White House statement that the Progress Pride flag had been displayed by the administration for the last 3 years. The article added that the administration did not respond to Fox News' digital requests for comment on the flag's design and meaning. So, now, Fox News already knows the real meaning of this flag. But what they're doing is they're wading into the right-wing culture wars against so-called wokeness. And that's what it is. Okay? Now, I have evidence, though, that Fox News itself, has been woke all along.
Woke.
That image is from Fox News' 2022 Corporate Social Responsibility Report. And there it is. I mean, you can see it. It's right there. Fox News literally using that very flag that now they're putting up articles claiming that, it's pedophiles and groomers. No, what they're trying to do is have it both ways. Appeasing advertisers who want to sell more products, okay, to people. Again, that includes trans people, gay people, all members of the LGBTQI+ community. It seems like, again, they want to sell. They want to sell stuff, okay. But while doing that, they also, want to appease members of their incredibly hateful, bigoted base that have jumped all onto this anti-trans rights, which again is turning off the vast majority of the American people and leading to electoral losses. And yet they continue to double down on this because double, triple, quadruple, whatever, because they don't have anything else. They don't really have any sort of criticisms here, real criticisms that they can use. But it gets better. I'm going to show you or tell you about some correspondence that a Fox reporter had with Andrew Bates. So now this was Patrick Hoff of Fox News Digital. Bates went off when Hoff asked him for comment about an unrelated story involving hot Cheetos. What a weird thing to reach out to the White House for. But anyway, in a series of emails with this Fox reporter, Bates asked, on the record from me, will Fox News retract their hateful debunked lie of a story, or will they issue a statement condemning themselves for covering their own logo in literally the same flag? Which is it? Hoff replied, quote, are you able to address any of my questions? Would you like to provide a comment relevant to my story about the hot Cheetos? Happy to hop on a call. Thanks. Oh, he added, otherwise I will take that email as a no comment on my questions. Thank you. Bates responded with, I discourage lying, but I also understand it's a tradition there. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's real good. Hoff then replied, we're happy to add a statement from you if you address my questions. Again, feel free to call. Thank you. In a parting shot, which I think is great, Bates said, quote, you have our statement. Yesterday, Fox News accused us of promoting pedophiles and groomers for flying a civil rights flag that has absolutely no connection to either. But which Fox News chose to wrap itself in a year ago? Will the story be withdrawn? Or will Fox News be criticizing itself? Well, I mean, that would not be unheard of to see Fox News wrap itself into pretzels over this. Again, in order to get that sweet, sweet advertising money. And also trying to make sure that their viewers stay with them because they're promoting the hate and the fear and the bigotry that they have come to crave. Now, of course, Bates received no response because, of course. And Fox News, they thought they could tweak the headline, but keep the, article intact. I don't think it's good enough, though. I think that's really cowardly and pretty ridiculous for Fox News. Again, trying to... Okay, so here's the thing. If you're going to be a hateful bigot, which I hope you're not, but you might as well just stick by it. You know? And don't try to do this mealy mouth kind of like, ooh, well, we're just going to change the headline and hope people are stupid enough to not pay attention. No. We're not going to buy that. And that looks worse for you in the long run. Because then, now the right wing's going to come after you. Oh, how dare you? How dare you? No, I hope you don't win either way. I hope Fox News loses both. Because they deserve it for doing what they're doing and pushing this just outrageous, horrible lie about the trans community, about the LGBTQ community itself. It is dangerous. It's dangerous. And by the way, it's not just dangerous towards that community. Painting trans people as pedophiles and groomers, that actually harms children who are being or at risk of being abused. The majority of abuse to children happens among people who have access to the child, okay? For example, a family member or an uncle or a father, if not, immediate family, then somebody who's trusted by members of that family to have access to the child. So a good example is a priest or a pastor, in some cases even a teacher, a neighbor, etc. Okay? Now, when you distract people from who the real predators are, by falsely labeling a group, the LGBTQI plus community, for example, as predators, you're covering for the real predators. That's what you're doing. You are hurting children. You're not just hurting trans children, but you're hurting children who are being, again, preyed upon by actual pedophiles and actual groomers. But unfortunately, there seems to be quite a few people who fall into that camp that are also on the right. And haven't been canceled either. Oh no, not at all. Milo Yiannopoulos, great example. Great example. So it really makes you wonder, though, why certain people online, Tim Pool, Matt Walsh, Libs of TikToks, Hypocrisy. Why are they pushing this lie so hard about the groomers and the pedophiles? Why are they pushing that so hard? Maybe they want to distract from what they're doing. I'm not saying they're pedophiles, but you could make a good argument that there might be some grooming going on.